Jesus is the light of truth. He's also the light of righteousness. Now, in this sense, the prophets foretold of the Messiah coming, that he was going to be the final prophet, the final king, the final great priest who would be able to come and do what none of the other leaders or the judges or the prophets of the Old Testament could ever do, and that would be lead Israel back to a righteous life before God. They were just a straying people. They kept on turning to idolatry. They kept on breaking God's law, dismantling their covenant obligations. And there was a good king like Josiah. Every now and then there'd be a great king who sort of kills all the false prophets and slaughters all the bad priests and reforms stuff and gets a bit of a revival going, but eventually they just fall back. They're back into sin. And the prophets foretold a time when Israel's Messiah would come and set her straight and establish her righteousness and lead us into morality, into law keeping. Of course, this was Jesus himself. He was a light to Israel in that sense. He was going to rise like the sun, and instead of burning them, heal them back to righteousness by giving them new hearts. He was going to heal the sickness of their sinful immorality and be a light for their healing. This is where a lot of people say, and maybe this is you, maybe this is a friend of yours, who will say, I've tried Jesus, met Jesus, went to the place of people who love Jesus, apparently, and I got mistreated, abused, and lied to, and they're hypocrites there, and they hurt me, and it was just a bed of sin. It was just a crock of hypocrites, and I got the bad end of the stick. And to that, we say that is not the Jesus of the New Testament. That if you've met a bunch of people living in hypocritical, covered up, unrepentant, deep, dark sin, and they'll call themselves a church or a spiritual group or whatever Bible study you went to and whatever cult leader they might have had or whatever thing you experienced, we can say that you didn't meet Jesus because Jesus is the light who transforms people into righteousness. So sure, you tried religion or you tried Christians, but your salvation is not meant to be in any of those. Jesus isn't offering you a group of people to find or a church to go find, or he's not offering something else other than himself. People have claimed to have met Jesus, live continuously unrighteously and unrepentantly. They didn't meet Jesus. Because Jesus says, those who follow me will not walk in darkness. That's an absolute statement. So you may have tried false religion before, but you cannot write off Jesus because he is the light, and people who know him become new. He gives the light of life. And therefore, we'll go back to what Jesus said. If you're still running from Jesus for that excuse, Jesus' diagnosis is, it's because you love the darkness. And yeah, maybe you got mistreated, or maybe you tried religion and it didn't work, or whatever you may say, but the ultimate source, you're also a part of that same problem. You love the darkness and don't love Jesus, who is the light, the only true light that has come into the world.